So, guys, the one more day to go until we get to see Test cricket. Hopefully, based on the weather and things that have been happening recently, it doesn't really look very promising from South Africa's point of view with regards to this game getting off the ground and us obviously playing some Test cricket. Hopefully, we're going to see Test cricket. Weather's not looking that great though, but obviously we're going to be fingers crossed to try and do so. To obviously be right here and pray that the rain stays away so we can see some excellent Test cricket. But today, what we're going to be doing on the show is be talking about Dean Elgar's press conference. He obviously spoke to the media today, so it's an awesome opportunity for us to have a live reaction together about the presser. I never got to see the presser yet. I wait for the show so that I can be kind of surprised when I do watch things and if he maybe says something interesting. So we're going to react to it. I'm going to talk about it, each individual part. If there's something that's interesting that he said, then I'll obviously stop and talk about that specifically. Um, Aditya is with us as well, so you'll be joining us very soon as well after we do our intro. But before we get going, before we get started, you know what you have to do. You need to please click subscribe. Please click that notification bell for all future videos. Please, it's very important that you do so. Also, smash that like button, comment, and share. And download the latest issue of Cricket Fanatics magazine monthly. Every issue is 100% free, straight to your inbox every month. Link is on the screen as well as in the description. Weird that it's the wrong color, but okay. Let me just change that. I don't like that my stuff is not in the right color. I'm gonna get irritated. So I need to know that it's all correct. So let's do that's cool. Awesome. Also, what you need to do, guys, I want to make a quick announcement on cricketfanaticsmag.com. Very important that you know that we have updates for the entire show, for this entire series, for everything we're going to have on cricketfanaticsmag.com. Now, what's excellent about that is that you guys will get the opportunity to be able to go to the website and keep up to date if you're at work, wherever you are, on what's happening throughout the test match. So we'll be doing some. We have an excellent piece on Cyril Earvier from Chris Chiwanza. That went live today. We've got a preview live from Abai. We're obviously doing this show right now. Then we'll be doing lunch reports and final reports, as well as a press conference piece after the game of the next day. And we'll also be having a reflection piece from Dan Gallen at the end of the test. Each test will have a reflection piece. And we'll also be getting some content, hopefully, cross fingers, from Emily as well, who's going to be experiencing a first ever test match at Lords. So it's going to be awesome from that perspective. From a content perspective, I'm hoping we can bring you as much as possible. So let's get straight into today's video. Looking forward to having a conversation with you guys. Yeah, let's have fun here. Very good evening and welcome to Cricket Fanatics Magazine. This is your daily show. I'm your host, Khalid, and this is my co-host, Aditya, I think. I'm not sure. Don't really recognize him. He's back.
On horseback. Yeah, baby.
How are you doing, brother?
I'm sorry. Apologize for my absence. I've been traveling a bit, and I I got back late last night slash early this morning, and I'm very happy to be here. I promise you, I missed you and our viewers, Lawrence. I missed you too, brother. Uh, but yeah, I'm very happy to be here. Test cricket is back.
Yes.
I'm all set to discuss it. Should be fun.
Yeah, and Test cricket is back, except for this funny thing, the weather. So this is what's going to be happening from, if you look at Wednesday, raining, Friday, raining, Sunday, raining as well, Monday also raining. So, but that doesn't really matter if it's raining on Monday. But but ultimately, 3 days out of the five, we're going to be having a rain. Hopefully, it stays away. Hopefully, this is just a warning that of things that may come. But I'm hoping that the rain stays away so we can get a proper test match. We obviously did a preview yesterday on the show, so you guys can go check that out. But Aditya, let's watch this press conference. I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little bit fiery. It's always easy with Dean. He's talking. So yeah, let's do that because I'm interested to see. And all I want you to do is maybe just, if you want me to stop, just put up your finger and let me know if you want me to stop the video, and then I know at least that you want to have your say if there's something that he specifically said that interests you. But guys, let's get into it. Yeah, let's watch this together and react to this live.
Status on Kagiso Rabada's fitness, and are you in a position to name your team yet?
Currently, we're still waiting to name the final, I would say, 12. KG's really done well the last few days. I think he's very close to being fully fit for this test. Again, that's subject on announcement of the final, say 11 or 12 players. But he's had a really good few days, so it's looking pretty good for us.
That's brilliant news. That is news.
Just to follow up on that, how much does he need to do today, though? Obviously, the rain and everything else to prove his fitness.
That's a good question. That I guess he'll most probably have a bowl in the indoor if needs be. I'm not the fitness trainer, the physio, or the doctor. If I was, he was in very, very bad hands. Yeah, so if he has to do something today, they'll obviously push him to do something today. But if they feel he's done his bit and he doesn't have to do extra work, then I'm sure you'll most probably see his name on the final 11. So yeah, it's unfortunate about the weather, but it is what it is. And yeah, as I said, if they feel he has to do work, then I'm sure he'll go do it in the indoors.
And if I may use the B word, Bazball, Ben
No.
said he was surprised you guys are talking about it so much.
With all due respect, I'm really not going to entertain that anymore. We've chatted about it long and hard. Yeah, I just want to crack on with the cricket. I think the game deserves that respect. Mudslinging is now a thing of the past for me, and yeah, we're not going to go back and forth anymore around that.
Being quite straightforward about that, Aditya. Like, we're not going to really talk about this Bazball thing. We're focusing on ourselves, and this has been the response from everybody in the camp. So it's at least it's consistent with everybody.
The hilarious bit in that is that I think there was so much chat about Bazball early on that they did all of it. They got it out of the system, and now we're not going to talk about it anymore, which I think is great. It's unbelievable because it really has irked the English. You look at Stokes' comments recently from the press conference today, and he said the exact same thing, that the South Africans said that, we don't want to talk about. Yeah, see, there it is.
Yeah.
You don't want to talk about it, but you keep talking about it. It's great.
Yeah, so there we go. That's what Stokes obviously had to say. So I'm going to show you guys again and read it out to you a little bit later, but let's continue with Dean.
Dean, can we just talk a little bit about the batting line? Oh, sorry. You heard what I said. And who are you considering in the middle order? I mean, given
Very important question.
What's the discussion around that?
I think purely because we've lost that experience factor in the middle order, I'm more inclined on going on with the experience that we have within our batters that we have. Yeah, we've had the option of obviously Markram, Van der Dussen, Rickleton and Zondo. So yeah, and then that's obviously up to the coach and our selectors to finalise our top five. But yeah, for me, in coming from my side, it's more on the experience factor.
So that's an important little bit of information there. I'm sorry I'm pausing again, guys, but we're going to stop every single time we get to something that's juicy. Does that sound to you like Ryan Rickleton doesn't get the shout ahead of Kai Zondo, even Rassie van der Dussen, or even Kai Zondo for that matter, because he's talking about experience. He wants more experience in the middle order.
Yes, it might appear that way, but I think it would be foolish not to pick Ryan Rickleton there.
Well, I agree.
Because and maybe it's one way of sort of tricking the English. He doesn't want to give too much away by revealing who's going to be in the 11. But yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure how you can fit. It's not like the difference in the number of test matches played is like 30 or 40 test matches, right?
Hmm.
It's just a couple. So yeah, I'm not sure he has too many experienced options to choose from.
Yeah, it doesn't, and that's why it helps us maybe um, figure out to decode the fact that it could be probably Rassie ahead of someone like Rickleton, because the word experience is very important in that sentence. Now, unlike the English, unlike South Africa, the English have released their team for the game. So they haven't waited, and obviously we're very cagey with it. They are completely. It's literally almost exactly like that. It's the opposite of each other, almost like we want to go one way, they want to go other way, and it's kind of a clash. They release their team. We want to be cagey about who we want to select. So they've released their 11: Zach Crawley, Alex Lees, Ollie Pope, Joe Root, Johnny Bairstow, Ben Stokes, Ben Folkes, Stuart Broad, Jack Leach, Matthew Potts, and James Anderson. Those are the guys that were going to be playing against South Africa. So at least we got that from England's side. From South Africa's side, that word experience is key in that sentence that he just in that answer that he just gave right now.
Dean, let me ask you a question about South Africa. You're on a good run of form, about a good year already. Is it your ambition for South Africa to be the best test team in the world?
No doubt. I didn't take this job thinking that we were just going to be mid-table and not playing our best cricket. It's always been my goal. It's been my ambition. I've experienced us being world number one twice, and I know that feeling. It's so great. But I know it's such a journey and hard work to get there. I want the young guys to experience that. Still, I still want to experience that before I. Turn the chapter. But yeah, for me, that's definitely a massive goal for me. I would say that's the biggest one for me, being the captain. And I wouldn't be doing this job if I didn't think we were very capable of doing that.
We're actually, I believe, in the same room where after you captained at Lords and came back and handed him back the captain's armband. So, I'm just sort of looking back from that to now, and I guess the feeling at the time that was still Bath's team very much. Just how you feel about the captaincy. I don't think you've lost a test since you took over the captaincy, lost a test series since you took over the captaincy permanently. How do you feel you've grown into that role, and is it your team now?
I think it is a little bit more my side now. When you take over for one game, your limitations are cut off a little bit. It's almost like you don't really have much control over your squad. Where I think now, being full time, you kind of have that sense of control and confidence around that, which I think I've created over the last year to 15 months. Such a lot more confident as a leader, as a player. I think it's rubbed off on my game as well. Hopefully I can continue with that in the series. I just think from a confidence point of view, and I think from a trust point of view with the players in the squad, the guys obviously take your word a lot more seriously, I would say. So far so good, and hopefully it can continue.
Without referring to the term, the style of cricket that England played against India, New Zealand and India, was quite difficult for them to stop. And we spoke to Mark Boucher yesterday, and he said it's just about trying to shift momentum. When we asked him how you might do that, he said he didn't know. I just wondered if you had any ideas of how you might do that.
I think one of our biggest strengths as a test side over the last period has been our awareness to adapt. I think when you're under the pump in test cricket, you need to have that quality and that skill. And I think we've fast-tracked that at quite a good rate, just purely out of the guys having a good attitude around that. And I think that's going to be a massive factor for us in this series, especially if England do have a flyer, which I know somewhere they're going to have periods in the game where they're going to be on top of us, no doubt, and we're going to have to find a way to adapt into that situation. I think there's been a lot of learning since watching those series unfold, and the way that they did. I do think we are smarter side, and adaptability is extremely big for me. We've come a long way with regards to that as well as a group, and the conversations around that is everyone's got a good buy-in around that as well now with regards to adapting and parking their personal stuff aside and doing what we require to obviously slow down their batting, for instance. I'd like to think from a bowling point of view, our bowlers are they're big, tall, fast and strong buggers, and we've got we've ticked the boxes with regards to the spin bowling department as well. So I think we come in with a lot more resources as well. I'm not going to diss the opposition that played against England then, but I'm just purely speaking from the South African point of view. I think we've covered all bases. We've ticked all the boxes in the right kind of angles for us to try and curb those kind of moments in the game.
And having played that Lions game, Mark said, it was a warm-up game. You wanted to get what you wanted to get out of it.
Yeah.
Having had that experience, do you think there's experience that you will have learned from having played against a team like that and what you're likely to face this week?
I read absolutely nothing into that warm-up game. Purely out of what we wanted to achieve out of as a side. A lot of us hadn't played red ball cricket in a while, so it was important for us to get time on our legs. We didn't know how much, but I mean it was a good exercise for us. Bowlers had to get overs under their belt, especially the younger guys that have had quite an extensive off-season back home. We had to rest some of our key fast bowlers as well. Let's bear that in mind as well. It was a good exercise, and look, if they come out playing like that in an official test match and it goes pear-shaped, it's not going to look very good for England. But it was a good indicator. But I mean, I think those guys playing for the Lions team had a lot to prove. They had all the big dogs sitting upstairs watching them, and they're like, it's now time to show the coaches and the director what they can do. For instance, in an unofficial four-day game, I would have liked to have seen what it was like if it was an official four-day game. I think you play a little bit different if you play for stats. You play a little bit differently as a player.
Oh, Aditya. It has started. Okay, that is a fire. I love that response. And I'm responding to the fire that I'm seeing in the comment section as well.
Savage. Savage.
Yeah, so I'm liking this. This is exactly what I want from a test team. I want someone to stand in front there and not shy away from the difficult questions, not shy away from their decisions. I mean, even if they were serious about it, I like that he came out here and said it's just a warm-up game. They have more incentive because they're obviously playing for the big guys on top. I like the entire answer, and well done, Dean. That moment was amazing. I like that attitude of him, and we're seeing a consistency here and a consistent front here that both Mark Boucher showed as well as Dean showed. They're very relaxed. They're laughing a lot. They're smiling. They're jokey. They're fierce. They're straight to the point. They're nonchalant about certain things. The way they're answering these things, superb. I love it. I love it. Now we just have to back it up on the field by playing that type of cricket that they are showing in this press conference.
I'm sure you would have checked the weather. You would have known what the weather was going to do today. You had a good idea.
That's the weather.
How does that complicate your preparations? Do you still have, is it going to get in the way of what you have left to do with the team before tomorrow?
I don't think another day of prep is going to make us any better. I think we're in a great space at the moment now. We've been in a good space since we've got together as the test side. The Proteas brand in general is in a pretty good space over the last few months. Yeah, it's unfortunate that it's raining today. It's always nice to have a run around Lords just from a fielding point of view and just taking that the viewing and the atmosphere. Even though there's no people in the ground, it's still a pretty unique and special place. But yeah, I don't think another practice session would have made us any better. I just think the weather around now the next few days obviously might just change our thought patterns with regards to team selection. So yeah.
We're going to go final round of questions. So 1, 2, 3.
Hi, Dean. Your most recent test series against Bangladesh, there was a group of players that missed it because of a scheduling clash with the IPL, and from the outside it looked like you weren't particularly happy about it at the time. I'm just wondering, with those guys back, what have you had to do to kind of get them back into the team? Have you had to kind of clear the air talks, or how's their reintegration been on that in that respect?
Prior to that, we were aware of the situation those players were put in, and it was a very unfortunate situation that they had to go through. And I don't blame them for the decision they made. There's no air being cleared. Them being back, we know they want to be here. I'm pretty sure if you go back then, they would love to have been playing Test cricket for South Africa still, but they were kind of put in a corner and they had to make a decision. And as a group, they made a decision. It wasn't an individual decision, it was a group decision at that point in time, which I'm totally happy about because I sat in more meetings than anyone in that kind of situation. So yeah, very happy to have them back. Sure, I didn't have my potential maybe best playing 11 at that time, but we gave a lot of young guys exposure to Test cricket. And it was also one exercises we wanted to try and do in last season, knowing that there might be a clash. It was to give the young guys opportunity and expose them to this level. And but yeah, it's good to have them back, and yeah, they're more than welcome in the change room.
Are you optimistic that it won't happen again?
Hey?
Are you optimistic that it won't happen again if you sort of fed that back to your seniors?
I hope if there is some sort of clash of events that there are sort of things put in place between the two bodies of cricket. I would like to think that there would be something a little bit more concrete around that, just purely to give the players a little bit more safety.
Hi, Dean.
Oh, there we go.
You'll know how well Simon Harmer has bowled in England over the past few years. And
Okay, he's smiling.
Today has been
Like
very
that.
dry over the past few weeks. Maybe not this week, but how keen would you be to play two spinners, particularly with how well Simon and Maharaj did over the winter, maybe down the line at Old Trafford or the Oval?
Yeah, having Harmy back in our Proteas mix is great for us. You can sense that he's already come in and strengthened our bowling group already. An experienced campaigner, he's taken hundreds of wickets here in the UK over the last few seasons. So it was a no-brainer for me to have Harmy back. Obviously, the weather, as mentioned in one of the previous questions, the weather's playing a bit of a whether to or whether not to kind of scenario. But yeah, it has been quite dry here. I think the surface won't change too much because I think what's underneath the grass is still pretty dry. But yet again, I can only just see it. I'm not a full-time groundsman. So yeah, but having Harmy around has given us that extra luxury of having that option, and we haven't had that option in the past, having a left-arm spinner and a right-arm off-spinner as well, which I think is a massive asset for us to utilise if needs be.
Thank you. We'll take one last question as we conclude the press conference.
Relay.
I think England have chased in their 4 wins this summer. How much would it change the dynamic for them, do you think, if they're the one setting the score? And is that the obvious thing for you to do tomorrow, especially with this weather?
Not necessarily. Yeah, I think what they did, the conditions were pretty nice to bat in in those specific tests. Also, yeah, again they did really unique things around that, and those months ago with chasing the scores that they did is something that I was like also blown away with. That's pretty impressive. But yeah, I'd like to think the bowlers that we have can still, even if we have wickets that are pretty flat, I'd like to think that yeah, we've covered our bases with regards to our bowling unit, and I'd like to think we can bowl them out even if they're chasing as well. Pretty confident because we've done it in the past, and yeah, it might be hard work for us, but that's what we had to do. We're not here to play soft nature cricket. We want it hard, we want it really tough, and yeah, hopefully the results go our way.
No, Hatay. This analogy might not be appropriate, right? But when he's sitting there talking about this, it's almost like if me and you were talking about maybe you got a new girlfriend or I got a new girlfriend or something like that, Aditya, right? And then you almost try to convince your buddy that she has all the attributes that you actually want, that she's cool. Or even like you'll see it as a kid when they're like, but my daddy has a bucky, but my daddy has this. It seemed like that when he's speaking. I don't know for what reason, but it comes across. Yeah, but we play this type of cricket. They want to play it that way. It almost seems a little bit childish in a way, the way they the way they are talking about these things. I think it's quite hilarious. But if I look at the whole presser and I see what they are saying, the main thing that I probably would take out of this, besides the fact that they are coming across as very dismissive of the baseball, besides that, the two spinners. They are really, really contemplating playing two spinners at Lords because of the weather conditions. Now, yes, they still have some worries about the fact that there's grass underneath, and that wouldn't have been exposed as much. But the weather, the overhead conditions, the rain, etc., it seems like they are thinking about it, which is interesting to me, I would say, because generally speaking, we'll speak about Lords and having a seam attack. I mean, if you look at England's team that they selected, you can see it there too. What they picked. Um, but the fact that Simon Harmer can really bat and he's a decent batter helps us a lot to make that decision a lot easier. I don't feel as stressed about it, about playing two spinners, because both of our spinners can hold the bat. They can contribute. Um, Simon Harmer might be a little bit slightly better. Some people might say slightly better than Keshav. Um, but ultimately, I still think that the options are available, and that's what's nice. It's the fact that we've got a squad to pick from, and we can choose according to whatever the situation is. That's what I like. I like that we have that availability. We're not sitting here being like, hey, we have to now shuffle people around because we need to try and find someone to do a job for us. No, we've got guys that can fully contribute regardless of the conditions, and that's what I like over here. And also with regards to the experience and the top five, specifically mentioning top five being experienced and not saying top six, because Calveren is obviously a young keeper already. Wanting experience in that top five was the key word over there. So your key takes away from this particular presser as well, and you can maybe give a little bit of insight into your thoughts about the game because you never got to speak yesterday, Aditya.
Well, first off, I have to say that Dean Elgar has this cheeky smile whenever he's being asked a question, and I just find that to be hilarious. Uh, but I think he seems really confident, which is great. There's a sense of harmony within the team because we know what happened during South Africa's last Test series. There was that constant sort of debate between whether these players should be playing for South Africa, whether they should be playing the IPL, and I think that dominated the conversation. But that's definitely not the case this time. This time the conversation's entirely about baseball and the entire um, theater around South Africa versus England, and I think that's fantastic. I think that's what Test cricket needs. I thought South Africa needs, and that's where South Africa really play their best cricket when the focus is entirely on the on-field performances of South Africa. With respect to selection, I think it would be brave to play two spinners, right? It's it's not
Very
something that
brave.
South Africa it's not something South Africa is used to in overseas conditions, barring the subcontinent. So I think that's a brave decision. But having said that, it could be quite a smart move because you do want someone to bear the burden to share that burden with KG. And if you have a spinner to do that, that's great because the spinner is obviously going to bowl a lot more overs compared to another fast bowler, and perhaps it would add variety to the South African attack. Um, I think of Simon Harmer in the team in the same way that I think of Ryan Rickleton, who's done really well in his county stint in England and is brimming with confidence. So similarly, I think Simon Harmer, as Elgar said, has taken hundreds of wickets and probably knows these conditions better than anyone else now. So I think that's interesting, and I'd like to see how that goes. But I think the biggest positive for me is that KG is playing the first test match because we all know
Yeah.
that when he plays the first test match, even if he doesn't do great, he's going to be really good in the second and third test matches. That's just been his pattern over a period of time. So my hope for South Africa is that the rest of the team sort of carries carries the performance that they probably need to be able to beat England.
Yeah. So, I mean, I enjoyed that press conference, enjoyed covering it, enjoyed speaking about it. Our thoughts on the match. We did um, a whole preview on this, of course. So you guys can have your a quick revisit to that. We did that yesterday. Aaron, myself, and Werner spoke about the game going forward. So go and look at that. We also got previews on the website on cricketfanaticsmag.com. It's very important that you guys go there and support us there. You'll get exclusive features, exclusive insight, exclusive stories, very different types of written pieces, guys, that will give you some insight into this test series and keep you up to date with it too. So please go ahead to cricketfanaticsmag.com as well for all your updates. Let's see some of your comments in the comment section. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but we've got a new look here. I've redesigned the channel a little bit, try to make it look a little bit more snazzy. I wonder if you guys like the new look or not. Let me know in the live chat. But I tried to do something a little bit different. The difficulty about this is to try to keep things consistent because when there are four people on screen, two people on screen, three people on screen, four, five, six, whatever the case may be, I'm trying to keep it at least kind of similar or consistent. We hardly ever do get six people on the show. We normally it's about four, so and five going over it. But I like the new look. If you guys like it, let me know. If you guys want to contribute and actually be the ones to design it, to design our interface, etc., then let me know that too. I'm also open for that too. I would like to do some fan driven like content as well, fan driven designs that we can obviously give you guys exposure and show it to the rest of the world. But I hope you guys like the look that we're trying to achieve over here. I'm not trying to make it simple. But let's get into some of the comments over here, Aditya. Let's see. They're really thinking of two spinners even at Lord's, Khalid. Yeah, it pretty much looks like that's the case. Lorenzo, Bailey, Man City, Proteas, Springboks. So I see this because you aiming to be very active on YouTube, talking on the different platforms. I see. I can see we play both Keshav and Army. The fact that they both can bat is a real massive, massive, massive plus because I wouldn't actually mind playing two spinners if you have one to take the load off KG. First test back, needs to find his rhythm. You don't know how if he's going to come to the party and perform the way he's supposed to. All of those type of things. He normally starts quite slow. So it's nice to have that balance and maybe have that spinners to be able to take the burden off him. But I do have my reserves about or my worries about them playing um, two spinners at Lords, of course. Do I ever think that the rain coming around cloudy whether we might play for the five seamers? That's also another option, Aditya. Playing more seamers, of course. I mean, some people have even spoken about going with an all seam attack. I've seen that narrative go around on social media too. What is your thoughts on that?
Uh, I wouldn't go with an all seam attack. I think there is space for a spinner
Yeah.
in the lineup. Whether that's one or two, that's that's determined by conditions entirely, and it's determined by strategy as well. Uh, but yeah, I'm not sure if a five seamer attack is the way to go. I don't know.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Lawrence, I see that him stating it's great to have Simon, but as a weather plays a role, therefore he might not play. It's going to rain probably we a whole day tomorrow at Lords. Probably. I hope it rains if Ricks won't play. I want to see Rickleton play. Like I love Rassi van der Dussen and I love the other players as well. I really want to see Ryan Rickleton and what he can offer because I love his style of batting. He's aggressive and he's actually the perfect replacement for Quinny actually in that order in the middle order. I mean, he could actually become the person that we hoped Quinny would be. I always wanted Quinny to bat higher up. Never I got to see that. Harder if we go with six batters and we play the two spinners, then I can get behind that. I think you mean to say yes, we might be light on a proper batting, but between Keshav and Simon, we can get good. That's what I was thinking. That's my thinking over here. Is that the two of them combined? I think they're good enough batters to at least give us minimum 50 runs between the two of them. So I think that's a massive plus if you can do that. If you can get your 7 and 8 to be able to give you runs too. So it's an interesting one. But it's all gonna have to do with the conditions because a spinner on a flat track or spinners on a wicket that don't suit them, they get punished. But what gives me hope is the fact that Simon Armour has experience in England. We spoke to Aaron in depth about it, and he gave us some hectic insight into Simon's success, even at grounds that are similar to Lords as well. So interesting one. I like the idea of playing our two world class spinners, and both are very different as well. Both will bring different dimensions and angles to the attack, with one being left armor and vice versa. Yes, it's true. Against both New Zealand and India, they had England under the ropes, but their bowlers couldn't finish their dinner. I just feel we will be different. We will actually go for the jugular in that moment. Can I ask you a question, Aditya? What can you learn? What can we learn from England and India's game? What can South Africa take away from that? Maybe some things that are secret weapons that we can maybe use to beat England.
I think starting well, that's important.
Yeah, of course.
You know, you don't want to start a series under pressure or start a test match under pressure. So that first session is really crucial. Because um, if England, given England's approach, given the DNA of that test team, I find that if England are not able to score as freely as they'd like, that would put them under pressure. So if the catching is good, the fielding is good, the bowlers are bowling tight lines at high pace, that to me would be the perfect start for South Africa. So if South Africa were to take a leaf out of India's book, I think that's what they aim to do. Play hard, particularly in that first session, and then ride on that momentum.
Mhm. True. So I'm going to leave you off with that quotes that we briefly touched upon from the two captains. We've got Dean Elgar at the end saying the warm up was a good exercise, and if they come out playing like that in an official test match and did and it goes pear shaped, that will not look very good for England. I would have liked to have seen what it was like if it was an official 4-day game. Sorry, I'm just making it bigger for myself. I think you play a little bit differently if you are playing for stats. That's what Dean Alga had to say. And Ben Stokes said the opposition seem to be doing a lot of the talking about it at the moment. We don't really speak about that much. We concentrate on what we do. We don't dive into it too much. But I'm happy for Dean and the South Africa team to say they're not interested and then keep talking about it. So it's a cheeky little response there from Ben Stokes. I wouldn't I wouldn't have expected anything differently. But that's our show for today, guys. So thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to look at all of our things on cricketfanaticsmag.com. Please, we've got a whole lot of pre-match stuff that I'd like you guys to please support. Even if you don't want to read it, just go support it so we can get the views, at, of course. So please go ahead and go look at it. Some excellent content, guys, that we put out there today. I mean, some excellent insight into Cyril Earvier's mentality from a visual perspective and what he does to try and help himself improve his game, what he's done over the years. So please go ahead and look at that content as well. Please, guys. So without further ado, thanks a lot for tuning in, everybody, and we'll see you guys again tomorrow with another review show. It will obviously be after day one, dependable on what happens. If it rains all day and they cancel the day's play, we will come live to you at 7 as per usual. Other than that, have a great day, guys. We'll see you again tomorrow. Stay safe, and we'll see you very, very soon. Take care, everybody. Enjoy your evening. Peace.